Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fortify Show. Today, I am here with a girl crush. Have you ever had a girl crush? You know what I mean by that. If you don't, it's like the girl that you follow, you see what they're doing, but you also get the privilege to see the behind the scenes, what they're doing. Pia Mance is the founder of Heaven Mayhem. She started this business just over 2 years ago, and it is growing rapidly. Her jewelry company has how many products now?
Like 80 SKUs, more.
80 SKUs, but she started in the floor of your living room, right?
My bedroom floor, cutting suede cord I got on Amazon and sourcing vintage pendants from flea markets around LA.
Okay. And now Hailey Bieber's wearing it. It's sold on Revolve. And let me just share, though, why I already love you. And we're just now meeting in real life.
I feel like we're besties already. It's 5 minutes.
She's our girl. And my audience will know what I mean by this is you are building something that is truly to the core. It's your heart. I can feel it. I can see it. It's done with intention, but you're also not gatekeeping. Like you're showing what it's really like to build something from nothing. So Pia, welcome to the show. And thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you so much for having me and connecting with me. And I was so honored when you reached out. So I'm so excited to be here. And your audience sounds incredible, like what you've been saying about your community. So I'm excited to connect with them.
Let's go. So tell us the whole story of how this
came about.
Yeah.
So I moved to LA January 2022. We bought a place and we were just setting it up. And I was spending so much time organizing the plumber, the social security, all these things, getting furniture, everything. And I was thinking to myself, I'm working so, quote, hard and long until I'm on my laptop until 10, 11 for what? My couch is going to arrive in 6 months. I always say that line. I'm like, for what? The couch will arrive. I wasn't achieving anything. So I felt, I really wanted to have a brand and do something more. My husband has been working in his own brands for years and years. And I've eavesdropped in every conversation because we met when we were 12 years old. So I've been eavesdropping for a while. And I just was like, it's time to do something more. I didn't have a lot of capital to put into it. So I think this is where people are kind of getting how did you only start the brand with $900? But because we had put all our cash into these assets in America and moving here and all this furniture, I only really wanted to spend $900 because that was the money I had in my account at that time to go out and start this brand. And that is all I put in. Started by sourcing these vintage pendants, hand making it with suede cord. And then it just grew and grew, and now it is what it is today. But we are still so small, and we still have so far to go. So I think it's a nice story because I'm like, I can teach you what I know so far, and now I need to learn from people like you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you started with a pendant.
Yeah, vintage pendants. So they were all one-offs, and I had a collection of 20 pendants that I made 5 sold out straight away just to kind of give that it's in demand, sold out. And then that may be sold out in 2 weeks. So then I did another one, which may be sold out in 1 week. 20 unique pendants, 15 unique pendants. And then I did drop 3 and drop 4. And then I think by drop 5, I had got my hands on this dead stock vintage product. I actually ended up ordering it. I spoke with this kind of store that had this product in a bigger size, and it was doing really well on my site. So I went to reorder more, and they sent me 150 of a small size, like a baby size, but they wouldn't take returns, and they didn't have the big one in stock anymore. They messed up. And I was like, oh my God, this is over, because that was my best seller. And now I have this mini one. I released the mini one anyway, because in true Pias Style, I don't like to waste money. So I was like, let's just see. That literally took off, and I ended up selling it like hotcakes, this one pendant. So I was hand making the first couple of thousand orders on my bedroom floor, not only hand making it, but hand tying it, putting it together, putting it in the pouch, putting it in the mailer, printing off the label, dropping it to the post office. Every single thing was me, and then taking all the pics for social, posting, doing the ads, everything. So I feel so lucky that I have learned every aspect of my business. So now when I hire anyone, I'm like, I know what you need to do. But now I try and hire people way smarter than me who have done it a million times longer. But I'm like, I still understand everything, which I think is the best bit.
It's the best. Oh, and I can completely relate to that. And I feel like you can, when you experience you and you experience all the things your brands touch, you can tell that there's intention with everything.
Yeah.
And it's just, it stands out above the rest because of that.
Thank you.
Now, okay. Oh my gosh, so many questions. So you make this first necklace. Did you sell it on Instagram or where?
So we sold it on Shopify. I made a Shopify store.
Okay.
I got the $30 a month Shopify account. So my $900 went towards buying the cord, buying the pendants, paying for my Shopify subscription for 2 or 3 months, paying for my Canva Pro subscription. And that was it. And I posted it on Instagram. I posted on my personal, just being like, cute pendant, tag the brand. But I never said like, hey guys, this is my brand ever, until a year and a half in. And then I just posted it on the Heaven Mayhem Instagram. Sometimes I would DM people like, I'd be like, hey, if they like to post, I'd be like, hey, you interested? Really wanting to get the sale. Sometimes people would DM me like, hey, is this still for sale? And then I would remind them like, it's coming out soon. I was really like trying to get every sale always in my DMs, which I still am every day. Like even yesterday in the office, obviously we're in Q4, Black Friday's coming, like it's a big, busy time. And then as CEO, I don't know why I do bunny, like in quotations, but add CEO, but I'm like kind of like still figuring it out, but I'm still sitting on my DMs yesterday for an hour and a half chatting with everyone about new launches, about new products, about our sale, because I think being with your community is like the number one thing.
It is.
They have so many good ideas. They know everything. You're providing the product for them. They're the ones spending their actual hard-earned money on it. So you need to be creating product they actually love.
That's so good. I have this philosophy in the method called Take Me on the Journey with building personal brands. And I always share with people, do the drag and drop philosophy. Drag people along when you're creating stuff, when you're going through like the next phase of business. And then when you drop it, they feel a part of it versus like, oh, something's coming. It's like, nobody cares. Like if I'm not.
What's coming?
Yeah.
I think just dropping products out of the blue is not ever going to be something we do, but something I do is I always tease it on my personal and Heaven Mayhem, but like fully tease. Like they're little Easter eggs that our tight-knit community totally gets, and I'm sure majority of our followers just doesn't even register. But it's so funny. I have this group of maybe like 100-ish people. Actually, I'm not really sure how many is in this kind of bundle, but they DM me personally saying, I see your hints. And it's like a product that's coming in 6 months, but they already know that I've posted like a tiny little bit and they see it in the back of my story and they know. So I feel like doing these little teasers is really fun, and they're kind of like on the journey, like, ooh, where's the next clue? Wonder what it is.
So cool.
And I find that works for us because it's like a fun game and it's engaging and I love doing it. And I feel like it's like a fun little thing, but it also works well because being a small business, I don't want to take them along for everything because I will be putting all my cards out to the world for every other brand to see and might be way bigger than us and can quickly rinse and repeat it quicker than us. So I kind of try and do it a little sneaky.
Yeah.
And something else I do is I do a lot of polls. Like, hey guys, I'm working on something. Which color do you prefer? Which packaging do you prefer? That kind of stuff. And people vote.
Yeah. And then they're deciding and then you're like, okay, this is it. Clearly 70% want this earring versus this.
Exactly.
So when did you move into the earring category?
The earrings was in April 2023. So the brand started June 2022. I had the necklaces, and then September they started really taking off, October, etc. And then by the end of 2022, I had probably, do you talk about finances a lot?
Yeah.
So I probably made about $75,000 in 6 months from the brand.
Wow.
Until 2022. Then in 2020, I like to say this because I feel like anything's kind of possible. January 2023, I think it made $7,000, which I was pretty happy with. February, maybe like 5, because I feel like February is a bad month. March, maybe like 13. And then April, we launched the earrings, the first set of earrings, which some are still our best sellers. They took off. So then April was an 80K month, which was insane to go from a 5K month to an 80K month. And it was right around Coachella, which wasn't intentional, but I had loads of amazing influencers post and link and be so generous with their time and posting. And I think that's a number one tip is like, even if you don't have an influencer following, but just being there and supporting other people's brands like I was without anything in return. I just did it because I liked them for years in advance. When I was then launching my product, they were like, oh, I'd love to help you because you've been such a great support to me. And even friends, anything. Like, I think just honestly being nice is like, pays off
100%.
And then from April, we didn't launch any new products until August. And August was a bit of a crammed in month because I'd been working on more earrings and belts. And I was going away for 6 weeks. And I was like, this is the time I'm doing everything myself in my house. So I'm like, okay, I've got to kind of cram in both belts and earrings in August. And so then August 2023 was a 200K month, which was crazy for us because I was like, 4 months ago, I made $5,000.
Wow.
And I was 6 months ago, I was hand making things on my bedroom floor, and now people are loving the products. But the belts and the earrings really was like a labor of love, especially with the belts, because I was running downtown. I was picking out leather swatches, like I was really doing it all. And also in August is when Hailey Bieber wore the mini knot gold, and she posted them on her Instagram. So that was great.
So what happened when that happened? Like, what did you think?
So she'd worn them before, but you couldn't really see them. And I was so excited, but I was so excited and I didn't really think I could top that excitement. Then she posted a carousel photo, like hips up, of herself in a little bit of blue jeans, a white t-shirt. So like nothing too noticeable. And then the earrings, like a 5-slide carousel of her smiling against a wall. And that was it. But of course she didn't tag them or anything.
Yeah.
But as soon as I reposted and said, oh my God, Hailey in Heaven, it really took off. But I will say it was a little bit of a slow burn. Like still now, even you said at the start, like Hailey Bieber wears Heaven Mayhem. People now kind of say that a lot, but it's not as if my business changed overnight because of it, but it was like a slow burn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's called the halo effect,
As a name?
Yeah, it's the cognitive bias. When it's like when one person endorses something, it just suddenly, it goes on to different class, right?
Yes.
For sure.
And I think that's the same with a lot of these other celebrities is people will be like, oh my God, this person's in it. Or, oh my gosh, she got this huge press article. And I'm like, yeah, do you want to see my Shopify today? Like I've sold one pair of them. Like it's not crazy, but over time it makes the biggest impact and it really legitimizes the brand.
Yeah. Over time, it's like every single thing you're doing every single day. The podcast, it's like the ad, it all adds up.
Yes. Everyone says to me, oh, how did Heaven Mayhem blow up? How did you do it? What's the secret sauce? I'm like, I hate to tell you, the secret sauce is doing literally everything. I wish I could have everyone see how many things we do in a day and how quick we do it because we're really doing it all and then quickly doing the rest. And that's how it's working because nothing moves the needle, but everything at once moves the needle a little bit until you're here.
Yeah, that's so good. Who was your first hire?
My first hire was a personal assistant who was helping take content and fill orders.
Okay.
And then doing customer service with me. And then I hired an EA. I haven't done it very, I guess, traditionally.
Yeah.
I hired an EA who helped take off a lot of things from my plate, like putting in POs, just speaking with some suppliers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I would often pass her the work. And now we have a team of, there's personal assistant, there's a my EA's being promoted to chief of staff.
Amazing.
A wholesale manager, e-com digital growth, and then there's a brand manager, community manager, content.
Wow. So how's that going?
It's great. It's so fun. We all work in my house. It's like a little girl gang, all on
women?
the couch. It's all girls on the couch, on the chair. There's someone sitting on the floor. Someone's patting the dog. We're on a call. She's on a call. We're like, you got to hang up your call. Like we're all on the same call and we're like, turn down your Zoom. But it's really fun. And like we'll order lunch and we'll sit outside and it's just like a good vibe. And I love working in an office because I'm doing something and I work like this. I'm a little bit ADHD and very quick. I'm like, have we done this, this, and this? Did you do that? And then it's like done. Whereas I find that if I have to get out of my routine, call them, pick up a Zoom or a Google Meet, it doesn't work.
It breaks
for me.
the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like, I need everybody local. We have to all be here.
Yeah.
Because otherwise as well, like if I don't have people near me, I'll end up like doing it myself.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Where my husband's like, yo, you hired somebody for that. Emily, stop.
Yeah.
Like ask them. It's so much easier. Oh my gosh. Okay. So You've got this full team. Were you guys at Fashion Week?
Yeah, we were at New York Fashion Week. This is what I mean by doing like everything. So we did an event, a big influencer event at Phuket's.
I saw.
We did a pop-up at a coffee shop where we didn't sell product, but we had a cute little area with the product and a mood board. We had a branded matcha with them, and then a community day where customers came and community came to meet and hang and chat. And then we did these gift bags where we gifted stylists and influencers like their essentials, like bloat capsules from Array, Band-Aids, matcha, the TikTok light with an Octo Buddy so you can stick it against the mirror, like all these little things. And then we ran around New York with a big bag and put up lost earring posters and spray painted the footpath. So like we weren't just doing one thing. And by the way, this is just me and one girl. Like just the
you make it when you all follow both Pia and Heaven Mayhem, you make it look like it's 20 people. It's wild.
Yeah.
And I heard you say this on a podcast where it's like you're the creative director and, you're doing your newsletter, all this, and maybe somebody else is filling it, but you're zhuzhing it up and changing it. And it's like wild to me how you're squeezing the lemon. Like you are making some lemonade, girl.
I am, but I think it's funny. I was trying to explain to someone like, I'm doing all of this. Yes, yes, yes. And then I got to go to another Fashion Week event. And obviously it's like Fashion Week. I have to look good. I have to have a good outfit. It has to be steamed. And then I come home to my hotel room at 1 a.m. and there's Heaven Mayhem bags piled to the roof because that's what we were gifting. There's literally earrings all over the floor. I'm like tiptoeing over things. And I'm like, it's just so funny if I really peeled back the curtain. Like I posted a photo of my close friends and people were like, you're disgusting. I'm sleeping in the bed like this.
Yes.
And all this stuff all over the bed. But that was just Fashion Week. I try and keep my life very clean otherwise.
Yeah, that's the real.
Yeah.
How did Heaven Mayhem, how'd you think of that name?
It's an oxymoron. Well, firstly, it was so hard to think of a name, and it's so hard in this day and age. I tell everyone, they're like, oh, I love my grandma's name. I'm like, well, you're not going to get a domain, you're not going to get a trademark, and you're not going to get the Instagram handle, so you're going to think of something else.
Right.
I think in this current period, the best name is something you can literally make up, choose some random word, like letters. It shouldn't be an actual word because it's so hard. But I thought of it is when I'm feeling like a mess, when things like my hair's messy, I'm in gym clothes, it's just like, it's mayhem. If I added a slick back bun and a pair of earrings and some jewelry, it instantly turns to heaven. You feel so much more put together. So I loved the name because it was a great oxymoron to kind of explain what the products do.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
Wow. Okay, so your style is so good. Have you always been good at style?
I've always had an interest in style and arts. Like when I was young, I would go to the flea market all the time. I'm obsessed with vintage, and I've had this kind of unique style. I probably have friends who think I have always had good style, but I think lately I've really tried to step it up. And I won't say it's not all me. Like I actually have a stylist coming from London. I brought her from London to help me this weekend. We're doing all my looks and she's sourcing all the clothes because it takes forever. But I definitely have my own eye. Like it's not as if I walk into somewhere and I'm like, I've got no idea. Like I know. And with Heaven Mayhem products, I know. Like I can see someone post on their story their grandma's 80th birthday and I'm like zooming in on her bracelet. I'm like, that's our next product. Like I know when I see a good product, but sometimes when I get dressed in the morning, I'm like, hello, what am I going to wear? So it's not like I've got it all figured out.
Oh, well, you're doing pretty good. Do you have like a process of how you get ready, like in terms of traveling? Because
my travel.
You travel a lot. You just in
I was just in Tokyo,
like 5 minutes ago.
Literally 5 minutes ago. I travel a lot and I always plan my outfits. I try and do a weekly fitting, whether if I don't have a stylist, I still do it with my assistant. I'll just put together the outfits. She'll take the pictures for me so I have it. And I love to post them as well because people get inspo. But then I take that little folder with me traveling. And the best thing is I kind of put on these jeans and then I throw them on the floor and then I style my next outfit and I only pull the stuff from the pile that I've thrown on the floor. So I'm not packing like 10,000 jackets. I'm only using 2 pairs of jeans again and again. And then I take a photo of everything. And if I'm going on an important trip, I will put in my notes app and I will like tap the image, copy it, cut it out like a little sticker, put it in the notes app and say, night 1, this dinner with this person, this is the outfit you're wearing. This is the backup for cold weather. This is this. And I always make sure I have a steamer, a lint roller. What else? That's it, really. I always make sure I have, like, this kind of obvious, but like stuff for a slick bun, stuff for your hair out. Because, you know, sometimes you're like, not sure.
Oh, totally.
Make sure I have the right socks for every outfit. There's nothing worse than wearing like a chic loafer with like an active wear sock, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and have a travel kit happening. So I'm like all ready to go.
So good.
But I take a lot of suitcases. I always have 2 under the plane and 1 with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I love those tips. And I do something similar as well. My husband's like, why are you're like putting on your clothes? We're leaving like in 2 days. What are you doing? I'm like, if I don't do this, I will have 10 bags, you know?
Exactly. And also you won't have a good trip. Well, I don't know about you, but you know, I'm getting ready and I hate when
I will. I'll be a mess.
I'm not having a good day.
Yeah.
So
your jewelry, I feel, and this is what I've learned from you, because I've been following you for, I don't even know now. I think I found you like 6 months ago. And what I've learned is like, okay, have a shell, just have like basics.
Yes.
And then
you're right.
With your jewelry, because it's so rich, and I want to touch on this in a minute, it's like so good that you can just pop on your earring or your belt, and it's like, that's your timepiece. That's your thing. And it's way easier, I feel like, to get ready.
I have a uniform. It's like jeans and a white tee and a boot or loafer. That's like what I'm wearing today, the white tee underneath. But it's kind of cold out today. Yeah. So I grabbed a jumper. All black, like black pants and a top or a tee. It's such a specific capture wardrobe uniform that I wear every single day. So it's so pretty easy to get ready because you just wear the same thing as the day before, maybe switch out one item, and then you add the earrings and you add a belt or you add the watch and you just look so timeless. And I think it's so chic to have the watch on because it's, you know, just like a chic, timeless piece you can keep on you. It's very personable. People can know you for having this piece on your wrist at all times. The earrings really elevate. I think it totally changes the look.
Totally changes the look. And what I want to say as well, and we have the jewelry here. We have the icon watch. I cannot. Okay.
You know the name.
So it's in gold and there's 4 different bands.
Yes. It comes with black, ready-made. You could give me some advice on this. It comes with black, ready to go. That's how you buy it. Okay. And then you can buy the brown strap, burgundy strap, or emerald green strap separately. So it's so good because you're not going to buy 4 of the same watch, but you can like swap the strap in and out.
Amazing.
Although I'm finding, you could maybe give me some advice, that customers get a little bit confused or they're not inclined to kind of add the strap. So we're trying to do some more education on that. You can buy the watch and then later, 2 months later, you can change out your strap or something. So that's something we're working on.
You have to showcase it. So it's like a 5-year-old will get it.
Yeah.
Where like, because I was sharing this watch with my husband and we couldn't even believe how it looks, the quality, and then the price point.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the bands, I'm like, this is genius.
And it's good because in January, we have different bands coming out. So if you've had the watch for 6 months and now you feel, oh, it's fall, it's like wintry, I want a different color tone. It's actually, I'm bringing out the perfect color tone for the outfit you're wearing. And it's just so fun that you can switch up your watch. It's like having 10 different watches.
I love it. I would have on the, like, and I don't know, when you go to the cart, like, did you forget to add your bands?
Yes,
you know,
we have that.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think just showcasing it of like, maybe even like a quick reel where it's like the different bands.
I think so. I'm like quickly shoving that there in and out. Does your audience, I know a lot of your audience is brown founders or soon to be, do they work on Shopify a lot?
Some of them.
Yeah, because the app that I use for that, if this is helpful, is called Rebuy.
Okay.
Because I love when I'm listening to a podcast and then I'm like, oh, thanks for the tip. Like I'm writing it down. So that's a good one.
Okay. So the watch. I just want to share this. It's in gold, but silver launched today. The day we're doing this pod, the silver launched. And what I wanted to say as well about the earrings, the knot earrings, is this your best seller, you think?
Yeah, this is one of our best sellers for sure. And this is the one that Hailey posted in.
And listen, we all know Em likes her sales and we like good deals. But the thing is with this, they're rich, they're heavy, like not heavy, like heavy, but they're not Amazon. Okay. Like this is what I have found with these little investment pieces, they're not going to tarnish and get all grossy-josie, and like it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want to share that because some of my other jewelry that it's like Amazon, this, that, it's gross right away.
It's honestly, it's too cheap. Like that's what it is. I think we've got a great price point because these are $90, these are $100, this is $280. It's not going to break the bank. And so from the price point, it's obviously not real full solid gold.
Yeah.
That would be thousands and thousands of dollars, but you get a great quality item. Yes, you cannot like leave it under running water for multiple days and like in the ocean.
No.
Who does that with jewelry?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
It's light enough that it's not dragging down your ear holes, but it's heavy enough that it feels like rich and expensive and you're not wearing plastic. So I think we've kind of nailed it. Perfectly.
You've nailed it.
Thank you.
You've nailed it. Okay. It's so good. All right. So continuing on, what other products do you have?
We have belts. And then in the summer, I wanted to launch branded accessories. So I did this so intentionally. And I think a lot of people were curious, why would you do a luggage tag? Like that's not anything to do with earrings. Why would you do a laptop case? But I found that although these earrings are so recognizable, if you don't know Heaven Mayhem, and I'm looking at you right now, if you're wearing Heaven Mayhem, like how is the next person at the coffee shop going to know that they're Heaven Mayhem? They're not. But if I had my brand logo in places that people congregate and people aren't used to seeing it, I'm getting myself out there more. So by putting my logo in an airport or putting my logo in a suitcase that's now going to Spain or whatever, people will start, if you know the brand, you've heard of it, you see it, you start a conversation, you see the logo, you then see an ad for it later. It's just another touch point of the brand.
Yeah.
It was honestly less of a product, but more of a marketing idea to do this. And especially with the laptop cases, I know like all the girlies need something for their laptop. Everyone has a Mac. They're working in coffee shops. They're working in Soho House. They're working in a big office. Like our office is all girls. I'm imagining people are tapping away. They're like, oh, Heaven Mayhem, isn't that the jewelry brand? It's something to talk about. So this was the idea. However, the laptop cases took off and now they're one of our number one SKUs. So now we're like, okay, now we're also a laptop case brand. So that's also what we released this year. And then the book boxes, did you see those?
Yes.
This was like the most genius idea I've ever had, right?
Yeah. They're so good.
Honestly, yeah, I would have brought you one, but they're fully sold out and hundreds and hundreds in pre-orders. So I don't have any, but I will soon. I'll be sending you one.
Oh my gosh.
But the book box was my idea of course, a jewelry brand needs a jewelry box or a jewelry case, but I just didn't want it to be so similar to others that I'd seen.
Yeah.
And I'd actually, before I started Heaven Mayhem, wanted to create a brand of book boxes because I thought it was a clever idea. And I hadn't really envisioned that it could have a jewelry box inside or actually look like a coffee table book. But this idea has popped into my head. We designed these 3 and now I think we're going to come out with so many more. It's been
and they're
amazing.
So chic and cute. Like I would put that on my dining room table.
Yeah, I have it all over my coffee table, my bedside table, everything. Looks great.
So cute.
And it's also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I buy these coffee table books for how they look.
Oh, 100%.
I've opened one of them once. I'm like, I may as well look at this.
Yeah, my Tom Ford one, like it's just there because
hundreds of dollars to never look at the page. So we're kind of just paying for the look of the outside to be able to give you something that you can have on display and get the look, and then also store things in without, we're not really looking at the pages. So.
So how are these ideas? Do they just pop up?
Yeah.
And are you intuitive of like, I know I need to do this and you just jam with it?
I went on a podcast recently and her whole thing is, what is your CEO superpower? And I think like mine is ideas, but not just ideas. I don't sit and dwell. I'm very good at executing, but I think of 100 million things a day. Like, we should do this, we should do that. Oh my God, we should do a collab with this brand. Someone reach out to this brand. I'm putting it on my Instagram. Someone get me in contact. Like, I will move so quick. So I think that's really great. But these ideas just kind of come to me. And I was also having a conversation is that everyone is inspired in a different way. So we could look at the same picture and I could go, oh, I'm going to do book boxes. I'm going to make it look like a jewelry box. And you could think like, oh, I really need to redecorate. Like, everyone thinks so differently.
100%.
So I think I'm looking at the same thing that everyone else is looking at all day, but I just am taking a different meaning from it.
So good. Marketing, branding. You're so good at branding.
Thank you. Honestly, I think we're really strong at branding and marketing and owned media, but I will say I didn't even know what a CAC was. I don't know any of this stuff. So that's somewhere that I'm outsourcing help. So I will say that that's not my strong suit. Neither is operations, neither is finance.
Yeah. Well, same with me.
Okay.
Like, operate. I'm like, what? That's my husband.
Okay.
Like, yes.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll
That's
call.
good.
Yeah. When it comes to the marketing, I heard you say, or I think it was in your Forbes article. She's in Forbes, everybody, okay? It was in your Forbes article where you were talking about you had, I think, hired models and had, a great shoot, as most brands do. But what you ended up using a lot of, like the BTS and that kind of stuff, and not like the professional, highly produced stuff.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? Because
Yes.
there's so many people listening to this, like they're not getting started. They're not doing anything because they're like, I don't have the means. I don't have the funds. I can't have a film crew. I can't have this and this. Like, you're just doing it from like a freaking iPhone.
Yeah. So I think one of my pet peeves, although I don't want to like speak badly to the audience, but one of my pet peeves is when someone tells me like, I'm going to do this. I'm like, get it done.
Yeah.
Like, you should be doing, not going to do. You should
Come
be
on.
doing.
Yeah.
So I think like to me, we take it with an iPhone. We take it with like my $40 digital camera I got on eBay, and it looks just as good. But I think coming up with a cool concept instead of all this money and dollars and creative director and art director and all this crazy stuff you don't need. Our biggest performing reel we've ever posted was I printed out photos of models like Kate Moss and Kaya Gerber and stuff and the Vogue shoots, and then I put it on a pinboard and I stuck an earring in it. And that's like our best performing content ever. And that was $5 to print and put it and I just took it on my iPhone. That idea came to me, and now we saw it do well, so then we rinse and repeat and do the same thing or different variations of it. Another top performing ad we have going right now is I bought different colored paper on Amazon, and red is really sticking out.
Yeah.
And I laid the earrings out 1, 2, 3, done. So like any product that you can kind of do a flat lay with, an iPhone photo, behind the scenes photo is great. Another piece of content that I'm loving at the moment is founder facing, talking to the camera. I do it a lot like in my ads and stuff. And that's not, people think like, oh, I need to create this insane content for ads. I've just pulled up TikTok in the morning of getting ready and saying like, I'm wearing the Heaven Mayhem mini knot golds today. They're so lightweight. I love them. They're $90. Grab them at heavenmayhem.com. Done. That's one of our most performing ads. So I think you need to take all the, what's that called? Where people... Procrastination.
Yeah.
Procrastination out of it.
Yeah.
Literally just do it.
Just do it.
And that's what I was saying, how we do one, and build up and do all these things to build up is I don't sit there and question it. I just rinse and repeat and keep going.
You're decisive. You make fast decisions.
Yeah. And I'm sure half the stuff I've ever put out, like content, I'm like, ew, that's so ugly.
Same.
But who cares? At least it's out there. And now I refine and edit and pivot, and same thing with the website and same thing with every product. We've had like 3 rounds of mini knot gold. You wouldn't even know, but we've just changed where the backing is. We've changed the backing. We've changed the box and the packaging 5 times just to make it better and better and better. But I didn't let that stop me, because otherwise I would have released a product a year and a half later. I still released it, and now I just keep changing it.
So good. And your motto is?
Done is better than perfect.
That is so good.
I think it's a great one to get started.
Yeah. For sure. And it's just you have momentum because you're not stopping and waiting. And that's what people do. They overthink and they overanalyze. And it's like, if it fails, it fails. Just keep going.
Yeah.
What has been the hardest part about building Heaven Mayhem?
I think the hardest part has been learning this business stuff, because for me, starting it, cutting it, the cords and making it on my bedroom floor was so easy because I had control of all of it and I could do it all my own way. But now I'm at this point where I have to learn about actual business terminology. I have to read these contracts with suppliers, or learn about like freight options and finance and even like marketing CAC and stuff that I don't know. And that's where I get concerned, because I'll get on calls with people way smarter than me and they'll ask me these questions and I'm like, okay, this is the hardest part now, because I have to seriously, I can obviously keep having fun and doing what I'm doing because I'm doing something right, but I now have to like level up and meet these expectations too. So that's what I'm finding difficult.
You'll find the right person.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hiring people way smarter than me.
Yes.
I was thinking about it is I do not need to be the person cutting out, which usually I am, like cutting out the graphics to stick on the pin board and handwriting everything to then scan in to then put on one story, which I do all the time. But I would prefer to come here with you and talk to you and your audience, or talk on Instagram and podcast and think of new design ideas. And that's obviously where my value is.
Yeah.
So just hiring the people to step in where I'm not.
You will. And I was at this phase, and we call them bottlenecks, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of stuck at this point. There's only so much time, and you should be speaking, growing the community, all the things you just said in your creative think tank. That's like where the gold is for sure. So I just started saying this prayer every day. I asked God to like send me the earthly angels that are smarter than me in this area, that are more equipped. And I started saying it every single day on my walk. I'm like, send me the people. And then suddenly, like, people started dropping in the craziest of ways that are wildly intelligent in the finance realm of things. And because I'm similar to you, where in one of my greatest mentors, he's like, you should only be speaking on a camera, on a stage, or creating or writing a book or writing a speech or creating. If it's not that or you're out in the community meeting people, then you shouldn't be doing it. And I was like, bro, I have to be doing it. I'm like, who's going to do this otherwise? I'm like, are you crazy? And he's like, how long are you going to work 24/7? And I'm like, as long as it takes. And he's like, you have to start getting the right people if you want to scale. So I'm like, all right. Because what I found is otherwise I'd go so fast and people will take advantage of you almost. They'll speak all these like foreign languages if you don't know all these terms. And I'm like, okay, no, I need to surround myself with a couple great people.
You need good people in your team.
Yeah.
Something I heard recently is, of course, you're going to be the best person to do it. Like, of course, because it's your brand, you built it, you know everything, you're putting 100% in, you're also getting 100% of the benefits of it. So, or whatever it is. So it's like, yes, of course, you're going to be the best, but having someone do it 80% as good as you and giving you 100% of your time back. I read this in my book that I'm reading. It's called Buy Back Your Time.
Dan's my friend.
Oh, what? I'm obsessed.
Oh, well.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, we'll link you. Well, next time he's here, we'll go to dinner.
Oh,
he's a good friend of ours.
Oh, I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
But I was like, mic drop. Like, oh my God, yeah. Because half the time I'm like, no, you guys, it's just not quite right. But now I have this whole new outlook on it that I'm like, you are giving me so much time back to do it. I also think, who can I go and hire to sit here instead of me right now? No one. No one can do that. No one can come up. Well, I'm sure someone can come up with some other great ideas too, but no one is coming up with these ideas for my company that I am. So why am I like, this is silly to think that I have to be the one cutting and pasting and doing these tiny things. I can hire someone so much better for that. I have to do this.
You're ready for it. And you buy back your time. You should have your whole team read it. So
good idea.
We do book club with our whole team.
My
husband runs book club. He's so cute. I'm like, okay, babe, you got book club with the team. And so he had all of them read or listen to the Audible. And then they did a review, and every person now on our team understands like, wow, the value of Emily's time. And like they think it different, to the point of like, he has a chapter in there of like the calendar and how his assistant does it. My executive assistant runs my calendar exactly the same way.
Wow.
Yeah. So do that.
I'm doing that. So can I ask you, with the book club, are they reading it during work hours?
No, they have to read it.
You know, they do it in time.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a Friday afternoon, 30 minutes reading. Everyone read your book at your desk or whatever. And maybe we'll have like a little matcha or a coffee and then do book club. This is such a good idea. I really want to start doing things with my company because obviously I love the girls and they make my life so much easier. But I really want to start doing these nice things where we're fully a team. And so I love hearing feedback like that.
They're going to just grow so much and it's so good. So do that.
I love it.
And how long have you been married?
4 years.
4 years. And tell me your love story. You're like, how much time do we have?
We met when we were 12 years old at a swimming pool. I was there with my dad and my little brother, and my parents are super sun smart. I think a lot of people in Australia are, because it's very high risk of skin cancer there with the sun. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Gold Coast or where?
I'm from Melbourne, but the whole of Australia is like this. Even, you know, sunbeds, how you go to the sunbed, they're fully illegal in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Because like the sun and skin cancer is such a thing. Anyway, so I get to the pool, this public pool with my dad. I see my friend, and she's with her older sister with some boys in the 1 year above. And I said to my dad, I'm just going to go say hi. But he makes me wear my full rash vest, like a long sleeve vest. And I'm like, no, I have to wear my bikini. I promise I'll put sunscreen on as soon as I get there. And he's like, I'm watching. And if you're not putting your sunscreen on, I'm coming over. So like as soon as I go there, I'm like lathering up my sunscreen. And my husband, he's really pale and he obviously burns a lot. And he's like, can I borrow your sunscreen? And I gave him some sunscreen. And then the next day he added me on MySpace and was like, oh, that was me who asked to borrow the sunscreen. And then we stayed in touch a little. I became literally obsessed. I was write notes to this is age 12. From age 12 to 14, I had a crush for 2 years on him. I would write notes. I wish Cody Mance would marry me. I love Cody Mance so much. He couldn't care less about me. He barely even knew who I was. Like he forgot about me. He couldn't care less. And then when we were 16, we met up we ran into each other at a party and we had similar circles and we ended up going on a date to see Magic Mike at the cinema. The rest is history. I saw him every weekend since, and then we did long distance for a bit. He moved to China and then we moved to London together in 2017 after doing long distance for 18 months. And then we got engaged in 2020. And because of the lockdown rules with Australia, we thought, let's just do like a quick courthouse wedding and we'll have the big wedding later. So we got engaged and married really quick, and also young. I was 24 and he was 25.
Wow.
And then now we've been married 4 years and we will never do a big wedding because we're like, we'd rather invest in a company.
Yeah. That's my husband and I had a tiny wedding.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Oh my
Everyone
God.
goes, that's so beautiful. I'm like, yeah, if it lasts. But I mean, we've been together 12 years, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna last. Oh my God. So he has his company, and what has that been like with you guys?
It's amazing. So his family and his parents and him and his siblings have worked in a family business for pretty much his dad's whole life, different businesses, but he's always been speaking about business with his family. So me being over there at 16 years old, just sitting at the table, I'm listening to conversations that I have no idea about. But as time goes on, I'm learning, but just eavesdropping, just getting little nuggets here and there. And then I spent a lot of time with him in China, and they had a production facility there and samples. So I'm seeing like so much of a business there and eavesdropping so much. And sometimes he jokes, like it's a joke, but he'll be like, I've taught you everything you know. But it's just so funny because like he's never really sat down and taught me things. Like, of course, occasionally, but it's just from me eavesdropping that I've got this whole business understanding. And it's amazing because if I do have a question, I can ask him. I often find that he doesn't do the work for me, but he saves me a lot of work. For example, I want to install a Shopify app or a payment platform. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I've got a call scheduled with this person tomorrow. Have you ever heard of them? And he's like, whatever you do not use them. They held my money for 6 months. They're really bad. Don't use that platform. And I'm like, well, thanks. Now you've saved me learning this huge lesson. But I will say sometimes he tells me things. We have very different brains, and like he'll say, this is the problem, I'm going to fix it like this. And I say, why don't you try fix it like that? And it gets the same result, but he would have never thought of the way I suggested, and I would never have done it his way. So it's nice when we have a conversation, but sometimes he'll give me the answer and I'll be like, you know, it's fine. I'm going to do what I think. And then later I come back and I'm like, yeah, I just should have listened to what you said because you've actually been in business longer. And like, there's like, honestly, a clear-cut answer for a lot of things.
Right.
So I should take his advice more often, but obviously you need to learn your own lessons sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And his work ethic, I think our work ethic together is so amazing, but like our dream Sunday is 6 a.m., go to the gym, come home, change, shower, go downtown to his office, or like go to Soho House and work all day till 6 and then go get sushi. And like we don't even bat an eyelid. We're not like, oh, look at us working on a Sunday. We're just like, yay, we have the time. We don't have to see any friends.
That's
like, we love it.
So nice. Like Jake and I are exactly the same, where one time I'm like, okay, I'm so excited because I get to go do deep work today.
Yeah,
I get to create. He's like, me too. And we're like, we're so funny. We're like, we're weirdos.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, you guys are workaholics, but we love when you love what you do and you get to create and it's your thing. It's so different, right?
Yeah, it's so different. It's like, it lights me up. I love doing it. Even we're in bed scrolling TikTok and I'm like, oh, stop, send that to me. That's a great ad. Like always on. I said to him, that's the difference. He kept scrolling. That's the difference between me and you. I'm always on, like as a joke.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. We're literally always talking about work or doing something, but I love it. I couldn't imagine if one of us was different. Like imagine if one of us said, no work at the dinner table. Oh, that would not work.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys work so well. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Ugh.
And you guys.
It's why we're together. I don't know. I couldn't be with somebody who wasn't like that. Like, I don't know what we'd even talk about.
Yeah, we actually had a conversation. I can't remember, like maybe a couple of years ago, and he asked me, it was all a joke, but something like, oh, would you stay with me if I didn't have a job or something? And I was like, I would stay with you if you didn't have a job, but if you didn't work, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, no problem. You don't have to have money. You don't have to do this. But if you were just sitting down on the couch every day, not hustling and not
watching YouTube.
Yeah. Not trying to make things happen.
Not attractive.
To me, that's the most attractive thing when someone has the best work ethic. So I'm like, as long as we stay working, I think we're good.
Yeah. Oh, so good. We got to do dinner.
Well, we would love to.
That'd be amazing.
We would love to.
How do you guys like LA?
We're on the fence. The reason we moved here is obviously he wanted to bring his business to the US, but a number one factor was the sun. He loves the sun. He loves the warm weather. So obviously we like that. We like having cars because we're living in London. It's like a very New York vibes, city vibes. And obviously the weather's bad. So there's so much we love about LA, but there's definitely something we feel that's missing. And we don't know if that's our like core friendship group, or we have his brother here, but we don't have our family. There's just some piece that we're not quite convinced about.
Yeah.
But we don't really know what it is because we're not leaving LA anytime soon. But we're just on the fence.
Yeah.
So you used to live here.
Yeah. And the core group is everything, the community.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It really is. So maybe you guys should try Orange County.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't know how great it was. And my husband was originally living there when we met, and he's like, come here. He's like, it's the ocean. It's Laguna Beach. It's safe. It's way different. It's easier to get around. And then when you need to come into LA for press or whatever, it's not that far.
No, it's easy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you guys should
Yeah, we need to try it out. And we don't live by the beach in LA, and I think I don't really want to because half the time it's overcast and not nice weather by the beach here. But I think being close to the ocean is really nice. So I think maybe we need to live somewhere a bit closer to the ocean.
Yeah. Capitalize. I'm living in California.
Yeah.
What was London like?
London was great. I learned a lot. I think my life is so different from when I lived there. I think I had seasonal depression for a year before I got used to it. And like I remember in London, for example, my nails now are always done. I always have a great manicure because when I was living in London, I would only get that for my birthday. Like I could not afford it. And just things like that, like living, not that that's hard, but living in London is a hard life. It gets dark early. It's cold. I don't know. There's so many factors that I probably sound so superficial, but it is difficult to live there.
Yeah.
It's a great city though, and it's such a vibe. And it's such a vibe walking through Soho or Mayfair and then popping into a pub and running into a friend. And that's really nice. Like that's kind of what we miss in LA. We miss that kind of walking nightlife vibe.
Community.
Yeah.
Would you ever do Australia again or?
Too far, I think.
Yeah.
I think it feels just that little bit disconnected.
Yeah.
It's like the best country ever. The healthcare, the schools, the lifestyle, it's so safe. Everything is amazing, but it just probably feels a bit disconnected for us right now. Maybe one day, maybe if we retire, but then I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I feel
retire.
Retire. I'll retire and like opening 10 more companies.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in our plan.
Yeah. Well, give one piece of advice for someone listening right now that is waiting to start. And they're just sitting around.
Like I've said it a million times, but like I said at the start, done is better than perfect. just get it started. Like whatever you can do. If you're imagining yourself telling someone what you're going to do, just do those things today. Do the smallest bit, take the smallest step today, because honestly, if you're putting off getting started, I don't think you ever will. So just done is better than perfect, and get it out there, and we can always edit and refine later. Is that good?
So good. So good. And where can people find you? Tell them where to follow.
So you can follow Heaven Mayhem at Heaven Mayhem _ Heaven Mayhem on TikTok. It's heavenmayhem.com. It's Pia Mance on all socials. And come in my DMs or come in Heaven Mayhem's DMs.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you. I love speaking to smart women. I love it.
Oh, you're going to love all of our girlies then. And you have a code for us.
Yes, I have a code. Should it be Fortify20?
Yes.
Perfect.
Fortify20. You guys go get the goodies. Tag Pia, tag myself, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm obsessed with you. I feel like we have a soul connection.
We do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be cheering you on.
Oh, I really love you. Thank you so much for including me.
Yay. Thanks. All right, guys. See you soon.